water cycle. We were discussing science water. The hot air in the atmosphere or the hot land helps in water getting converted into vapor. What happens is, because of the heat, the liquid water gets converted into gaseous vapor state. This is evaporation. And then when it becomes vapor, it rises up high into the atmosphere, and later as it goes up, the atmosphere becomes cool and so it condenses. When it condenses, it becomes droplets. Droplets get added to each other, they become a group, they become heavy. When the droplets become heavy and when the atmosphere is cool, they fall down as rain. So this water going up as evaporation and coming back as condensation, that is conversion of the vapor state of water in the atmosphere into the liquid state, is called the water cycle. This happens only because the heat of the sun helps in evaporation, and the water available on the ponds and the rivers and the seas are going up as vapor and coming back as rain. This is water cycle. Photosynthesis. Plants draw water from the soil through the roots and release oxygen and water vapor. That is why the area around the trees are cooler even in hot sun of the summer. This process is called transpiration. Transpiration is plants, the leaves giving out water vapor and making that area not only cool but releasing vapor into the atmosphere. Wheat plant, like paddy, you have wheat. The wheat plant, the number of plants that could produce 1 kilo of wheat actually releases 500 liters of water as vapor. So that is the extent of water a wheat plant releases into the atmosphere. So how much is lost by one paddy field or a village? If 10 plants give 1 kilo of wheat, then 10 plants together will release 500 liters of water into the atmosphere by transpiration. Now, if in one field, if you have 1000 plants, then how many liters of water? Like this the whole village, like this the whole country. So much water that is fed into the field for irrigation is released back into atmosphere as vapor by the plants. This vapor goes up and comes back as rain. So that is why we say plants are necessary for us to have rain. When water is cooled, the vapor in it condenses back into liquid form from gaseous form. This is also found in dew drops, as in cool atmosphere or early mornings. At great height, the atmosphere is cooler, and so the vapor that is created from the surface of the earth condenses into droplets and clouds and fall down as rain. If it is very cool, then we have hailstorms or snowfalls. This fall as a glacier or a river, and then if the land is flat, there is no plants or forest, the water fastly flows into the sea. Why? Because the land is higher than the sea. To prevent this water going and mixing with the salty seawater, what we should do? We should try to have more plants and forests so that the flow of water will be slowed down. What is the benefit? When water slowly goes to the sea and not run to the sea, the water seeps into the ground. It fills the ponds and the lakes. We will see what is the benefit of this seeping. What is groundwater? The water that we pull out by digging a well is called the groundwater. Where from this water comes? The water is there in the ground or under the ground because the rainwater seeps into the soil. If the land is flat and there are no trees, the water will move very fast in case of a rain and there will be no room for seeping. If there are more wells to draw the water level will fall quickly. So we should A. help in water seeping into the ground, and B. prevent the water level from going down by overuse of well water. How we can do this? We can plant a lot of trees. So the trees will bring not only rain but prevent the water from running away and help in seeping. This is water harvesting in a natural fashion. We should not overuse the wells. Erosion of the top fertile soil is also prevented by having more plants and forests. What is erosion? Erosion is the removal of the top fertile soil by wind and water, rain and storm. Rainfall. Though the circulation of water between the land and the ocean by evaporation and condensation is a natural cycle, the extent of rainfall, the timing of the rainfall, and the duration is not uniform. So different areas get different rainfall. Sometimes what happens, all the rainfall happens in the sea. If no rainfall happens on land, neither can we harvest the water, nor will the rivers bring water to the reservoir, nor a seeping of the water into the land for wells happens. So, water cycle happened, evaporation, condensation, transpiration happened, but there was no rainfall on the land. This is one problem we have. Another problem is the extent of water in earth is constant. Whatever water is in the sea or ocean goes up into the atmosphere as clouds, comes back to the land as rainfall. It is not necessary rain will fall on land. Rain may fall on ocean also. So, human beings should take enough care of water that is available on land. As our crops depend on monsoon, it is very difficult when it rains too much or too little on the land. Also, if the monsoons are delayed, drought is caused and it affects the crops. Again, we have to depend on water in the reservoir or water in the wells. So, water harvesting to refill the groundwater is very important. Dams are helpful not only for preventing floods but also for irrigation canals or conversion into tap water for home use or hydroelectricity generation, etc. Also, the dams are helpful. Now let us look at conservation. Only a small fraction of the water available on earth is fit for use by plants and animals and humans. That is, we have seen 66% is water surface, 75% is seas and oceans, but still we can use only a small portion which is fit for human use, which we can drink or which the plants can grow, etc. So our activity should be aimed at reducing water wastage, reducing pollution, prevent deforestation and erosion, improve rainwater harvesting, help in seepage of water to the ground level improvement, and avoid overuse of groundwater. Population is increasing, but overall water availability on earth is almost constant. So, we have a problem if we do not manage use of waters. So, water conservation should be our primary concern. In many parts of the world today, women have to walk for miles to get a pot of water for cooking or drinking. People have to walk for miles to get a pot of water for cooking or drinking. Not only that, they are walking in deserts when it is very hot. So it affects their health. The water that they bring in the pot gets evaporated. Water becomes hot. So many issues are there. Try collecting rainwater and storing for future use. How can we do that? This is what we call as rainwater harvesting. Water that falls on concrete roof or a tar road or a tiled courtyard can be drawn by a pipe to a pit to refill and recharge the groundwater level. So the rainwater that falls on the concrete roof or a tar road can be drawn by a pipe to a pit to refill and recharge the groundwater level. This will replenish the wells. This is what we should aim at so that we don't waste the rainwater that falls on the land. Otherwise, we will have to use a motor pump to clean the water in the lake or a reservoir and bring it to the apartments. Reverse osmosis is done in desert countries. This is desalination, where the impure water or the saline water is converted into drinkable water. Thanks for watching this video on water.